I cancelled my wedding last moment, not for drama, for truth. Truth arrived at last. I stood in silence. While everyone expected celebration, their joy filled the room, but my heart felt empty, not from fear, from clarity. Clarity cut deeper than love. I wore the crown of duty, but duty felt like chains, chains disguised as tradition. I saw her face smiling, but her eyes looked distant. Distance scared me quietly. I felt the weight of promises before I could earn them, promises without foundation. I remembered my past pain, not to punish her, but to protect myself. I heard whispers around me. Some praised, some doubted. I listened to none, because my soul demanded honesty. Honesty cannot be postponed, not even for happiness. I cancelled my wedding last moment, because I could not lie, not even for love. I saw the future clearly, and it did not include the life we were building. I felt the bride's fear, hiding behind celebration. That fear mirrored mine. I didn't want a marriage built on expectations alone. Expectations break silently. I feared regret would follow, like a shadow in darkness. Regret never leaves quietly. I couldn't marry for pressure. I couldn't marry for approval. I couldn't marry for ego. My family's pride mattered, but my peace mattered more. Peace is the real crown. I saw my mother's tears. I felt my father's silence. Their love was heavy, but I refused to lie. I refused to sacrifice truth. Truth is sacred. I cancelled my wedding last moment, and the room fell quiet. Silence turned into shock. People expected celebration, but received honesty instead. Honesty always feels harsh. Some called me foolish. Some called me brave. Both were wrong. I wasn't brave for leaving. I was brave for choosing. Choosing truth over comfort. I didn't leave her broken. I left her confused. Confusion is painful. I couldn't give her certainty because I didn't have it. And certainty is everything. I cancelled my wedding last moment because I refused to cheat. Not her, not myself. I refused to be the reason for a life built on lies. That would destroy both. I wanted love to survive, not become a prison. Love must be free. I saw the groom's suit, and it felt like armor. Armor I couldn't wear. I felt the ring heavy, like a promise forced. Forced promises suffocate. I cancelled my wedding last moment because my heart said, stop. Stop before it's too late. I knew she deserved better. Not someone uncertain, not someone half present. I knew I deserved better. Not a marriage of doubt, not a life of maybe. I cancelled my wedding last moment, and the world turned loud, loud with questions and blame. But I stayed quiet, because silence is honesty. Honesty doesn't need explanation. I walked away from celebration, not from love, but from deception. I cancelled my wedding last moment, and I felt the pain of being misunderstood. But pain is temporary. Truth is permanent. Truth becomes freedom. After the cancellation, silence stayed. Not anger, but shock. Shock doesn't know what to feel. People stared like statues. Some whispered like snakes. Others pretended, not noticing. The bride stood frozen. Her smile turned into confusion. Confusion became silent pain. I saw my family's hearts breaking behind controlled faces. Their love weighed heavy on me. I walked away slowly. Each step felt like betrayal. Not to her, but myself. I felt the groom's suit, heavy like a burden. Burden I couldn't carry. I heard the wedding drums, turning into distant noise. Noise I couldn't join. I realized love isn't enough. When truth is missing, truth is the foundation. I didn't cancel for hate. I canceled for clarity. Clarity is the real bride. I chose loneliness over lies, because lies become prisons. Prisons trap innocent souls. I didn't want her future to start with confusion. Confusion destroys marriages slowly. I didn't want my future to start with guilt. Guilt follows like shadow. I saw her mother crying, not because of me, because of broken expectations. I saw her father silent. Silence heavier than words. Words can be repaired. I saw my mother's tears. Tears of disappointment and love. Love doesn't always understand. I saw my father's eyes, like a king losing his crown. Pride shattered quietly. They asked why I cancelled. I gave them honesty. Honesty is hard to accept. They asked for forgiveness quickly. Forgiveness cannot be forced. It must be earned. I didn't beg for understanding. I didn't demand approval. I only wanted peace. I felt guilty for hurting, but guilt didn't erase truth. Truth remained untouched. I wanted to explain, but words felt like weapons. Weapons create wounds. So I stayed silent. Silence held my integrity. Integrity mattered more than applause. I watched her leave slowly. She looked back once. Her eyes spoke a storm. That storm was not anger. It was betrayal of her own. Because she trusted my words. She trusted my promises. Promises I couldn't keep. Not because I didn't love. I loved her, yes. But love without certainty becomes a dangerous fire. A fire that burns, even the ones who light it, even the ones who watch. I cancelled my wedding last moment, and I became a lesson she didn't ask. She learned